Hi, friends. Oh, of course. Of course. What a way to start out. Hello, friends. I'm with Dale, Dr. Dale Kimberlin. That's so me. Dr. Dale Kimberlin, my friend, and you can see at his office in Ankeny at Kimberlin Chiropractic. And I am here in the middle of things as always, but I am so excited to introduce him to you. He's my friend from high school, and he's now relocated, and then we reconnected again recently. And I was in for the body scan, the InBody Scan on Tuesday. If you saw my live on Tuesday, you can go back and see that. I finally took the plunge to get the truth about my body composition, and I didn't know if I was ready for the truth, right, Dale? But
Yep.
as you said so eloquently, the truth will set you free.
It's true. You don't know
Either
where you're
that,
going unless you see where you're at.
yeah, either that or the truth hurts, right?
Yeah, yeah,
One
yeah.
way or
And
another.
it's
So,
okay. It's
yeah.
okay.
Either way, it's okay. I appreciate all your videos you've been doing, by the way, and for the world and teaching people about things. So go back and look at Dale's little videos because he's putting a lot of good education out into the world. So tell us a little bit about the body scan. InBody Scan is bioimpedance and it tests your body composition, right?
Yeah.
So why do you feel like you have this in your office? Why is this important right now in this day and time? Why do you even have one of these machines, this body
Yeah.
comp?
So, people come in, they're in pain, they bent over, they hurt themselves, and they think, oh, I'll go to the chiropractor, right? But what they don't necessarily realize is that they're just not healthy. And healthy people don't have their back go out. Healthy people, it's like they're not keeping up. And so the in-body scan will show us if they're inflamed. It'll show us, what their metabolism's doing, how damaged it is. But we don't get sick by chance. We get sick because we've made bad choices, most likely for a period of time, and then
Right.
our body fights as much as it can, but then it just wears out, and now we end up with a diagnosis. And so, what do they do? Of course, give us some pills to make us feel better while our problem continues. And so I like to have the InBody so I can get a good representation of how healthy someone is, right?
Okay.
So let's
Right.
understand why they went wrong, what's brought
Overall,
them
how
in with their, yeah, yeah,
the overall health. Yeah.
yeah, for
Okay.
sure, for
The
sure.
inflammation, body water, you mentioned muscle mass.
Yeah.
Um,
So people that have more fat mass
mhm,
are sick. You can see somebody that's largely overweight, they're
mhm.
sick. They may feel okay, they may be able to do things in their life, but they're a time bomb waiting to go off because that's not healthy physiology, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm,
if we can
mhm,
understand that, then we can start doing things to go the other way so we can build health rather than just to continue decline over, year in and year out.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, and I've got my results here, which I poured over with my highlighter, which is classic for me. And
Yeah,
I put my
yeah,
notes on here. We'll talk
yeah.
later. But tell us about this. Most importantly, the intercellular water cellular. Is that meaning hydration? Does that mean you can tell how hydrated you are? Is that
Well, yeah, it does. So
okay?
the problem is when it's too much, right? So that's just is
Right.
another sign of inflammatory load. So the more
Okay.
inflamed we are, the more disease we get,
Okay.
right?
Got it.
So it's interesting. People that have had joint replacements where they have like titanium, we see that that's elevated because their body's fighting against that metal that's a foreign object. And maybe that's the way it's got to be because, your joint was bad, but your immune
Okay.
system is still not recognizing it as friendly, and so it creates
Right.
more inflammation.
So that's cool. That was a cool dry mass, lean mass, body fat mass. That was a cool. I'd never seen that before. Tell me about the fat muscle analysis. I know a lot of people who work out, right? A lot of people who are in the gym
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
They're trying to lose weight, they're trying to build muscle, they're either not building muscle or not losing weight or it's not working. But tell me about those measurements there.
yeah. So we'll have everyone wants to kind of think about their weight. I'm overweight, whatever. But let's break that down into the weight of the muscle and the weight of the fat.
Right.
So if we have a high muscle content, that's going to make us heavier, but we're not necessarily unhealthy because if our fat is low enough, we
Right.
could still be a certain weight, but if we have lower fat and higher muscle, that's acceptable. The inverse is not. When we have a lot of fat and less muscle, that's the problem. In fact, that's the sickest people that we're going to see are where
Mhm.
they're in inverse relationship of where they should be. So in other words, if you could see this, This is a D shape, right? So the weight is on the top and the fat is on the bottom, and then the
Mhm.
muscle is in the middle. So if we have more muscle than we have fat,
More muscle.
then that's a
Okay.
healthy place to be. But
Yay, I got a D.
that's you. You got a D, but that's really an A. So then if we look at the opposite of that, so we see a C shape. This person's muscle is less than their weight and their fat. So that's a
Ah,
person that is exposed to pretty much every chronic and degenerative disease that we have. So that's an environment. They've created a body that invites those things in, that breakdown in. So we
so the
want to,
inverse of fat mass to muscle ratio is really
yeah.
critical here.
Yeah. What we really need to do is become more muscular. You know,
Yeah.
we're
Right.
underdeveloped mostly, and we're overfed, which leads to a higher fat content. So
Right,
if we
right,
can
right.
get our fat down and our muscle up, we're a healthier person right
So
away.
this actually measures how much of your weight is actual fat mass,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, yeah. So think about it
Okay.
like this. People have been exercising, they've been eating right, but their weight hasn't changed. And so
Right.
that's obviously like pulling their hair out. Well, if they lose 12 pounds of fat and they gain 12 pounds of muscle, their weight's going to stay the same. So
Right, right.
if we can break that down and say, you know, you're actually doing the right kind of thing and wouldn't worry
Yeah.
so much about the weight.
Right.
Um, but we
Right.
need to monitor that. And then you look at people that are on these
Right.
GLP-1 inhibitors or whatever they're called, the
Right.
Ozempics, right? So what
Right.
happens to them? Their muscle goes down. And
Yes.
so that's not healthy at all.
No. Oh, no, not at all. In fact, quadruple the rate a normal aging of normal. Did you know that? I've been doing a lot of studies and a lot of training on that. Quadruple the rate of regular sarcopenia or muscle loss over
Yeah, yeah,
40. It
yeah. Which
quadruples.
just makes them more frail and
Right.
more prone to
Right.
disease.
Right.
So we need
Exactly.
to be vibrant and robust and strong and athletic. That's kind of
Right.
how we used to be before we found the lazy boy and the
Right.
Haagen-Dazs.
Right. And what I found was interesting too is you go even deeper into which I've never seen what parts of the body have more muscle than others. You know, you always say,
Yeah,
oh, my
yeah,
right arm's bigger or stronger or whatever, but
yeah,
it actually
yeah,
measures that, which is so
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
And then it shines a light on the fact that I haven't done core strengthening exercises for a really long time, and I can see
yeah,
that in this test, which
yeah.
is so blows my mind. The other thing I loved about this was visceral fat. What is visceral fat? Can you just explain that for a sec?
Yeah, visceral fat is the fat that is going to be underneath the subcutaneous fat, which is, you know, you can pinch an inch, right? That's just below the skin. But this is the fat that surrounds the organs. And so there's a certain amount of it that you need. It'll cushion your organs, you know, it's healthy, but it just gets to be too much, which again speaks to inflammation and degenerative disease in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if it's below 10, that's a good place to be. I've seen as
Mm-hmm.
high as 30 and as low as
Mm-hmm.
4.
Oh, yeah, and that internal visceral fat, meaning the fat around the organ systems, which is unhealthy for the organs, because then they can't
Yeah.
function
Yeah.
properly,
If
right?
it's too much, it creates an issue for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, these measurements are so great. I absolutely love the fact that it gives you your basic metabolic rate too, how many calories you could or should eat to maintain your current weight. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I have a little mine is off. The way what I thought is definitely not correct. I've definitely overestimated. So this is
Yeah.
good. This is
Yeah.
great. It goes into a lot of details. So I really appreciated all this so much, and it's really easy to do. It's called bioimpedance, right? And it's nothing. How does this happen? Do people have to be afraid of getting like hurt by this? Is it like
No,
radiation?
no. So if so, it puts a gentle current into the body and it's measuring resistance and it does its thing. You know, we don't recommend people that have had a pacemaker use it just because you wouldn't want to. I don't think anything would happen, but you don't want to put some electricity into the body and then it changes their electronics in their body. So we don't do it on somebody that's had a pacemaker, but for everyone else, it's completely safe. You know, DEXA scans are what people call the gold standard to figure out your body composition, but that's ionizing radiation. That's like x-rays. And so you can have, you know, a few in your life, say, but you wouldn't want to have one every single week, right? So if
Hmm.
somebody's on a weight loss program, a building muscle program, a get back to being healthy program, you know, we could scan somebody regularly. We could scan them every single week. We could
Okay.
have somebody who's pretty happy with where they're at. Maybe they check in twice a year, you know, January and June, and just see, you know, are they slipping? Are they getting better? Are they staying the same? Or that kind of thing. And somebody can just have it as little as they wanted to, right? So
So
there's
it's a
point
safe
is that they're
way.
safe to do repeat studies.
Okay, it's a safe way to do it. It's
Yeah.
not, and this isn't something they get at medical doctor's offices. The MD, the DEXA scans, are those at medical facilities? I don't, and you have to
Yeah, I think you have to have some
or
sort of like, because it's ionizing, you're gonna have to
yeah,
have a script for that.
right, yeah. So this is cool because it's safe and you can see, is what
Yeah,
I'm doing working, right, in the gym,
yeah,
right? What is it? So you could actually objectively see, you know,
yeah.
we can get those body comp scales at home, but it's not the same.
It's
And it's
not.
not as detailed, it's not the same, and it's not as accurate. And yeah, and we don't want to get stuck on the numbers, especially as spring rolls around and people start thinking about, oh, I got to get my shorts and stuff. Don't focus on the number so much as the composition, I think, right, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, yeah. Just you want to have goals, right? So you want to gain 3 pounds of muscle. You want to lose
Right,
3 pounds of fat,
right.
and then each week you can see, oh yes, I've made some progress.
So I love the fact, and I'm hoping all my friends out there that know me are gonna go and go get one. It's safe. You can do it, repeatedly, or just ever, like you say,
Yeah,
whatever floats your boat. But I hope all of y'all go and to Dale's office and get the scan done. It is highly worth it. Don't be afraid. Feel the fear and do it anyway. I know I was not I was scared to be told to get on the thing, but you know what? It's so good to know the details, and I really wish I had done it sooner. I really do, Dale, because I have been increasing my weights. I have been using, the not from the went from the 8 pound dumbbell to the 20 pound kettlebell, from the 8 pounder to the 20 pounder. And you know what? I wish I knew. I wish I knew how much muscle I had
yeah,
increased. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
It keeps
don't,
you going. It definitely keeps you
yeah.
going.
I'm so sad. I wish I'd known. And my husband, the same thing. I know he's gained a ton of muscle mass because he's been doing his thing, but we didn't get the number. So please don't wait. Just go. Don't delay. Go get it now. You'll be happy you did, or sad for a moment. But the
Yeah.
truth, the
The
truth sets
truth
us
will set
free.
you free. That's right.
And then we
And
can
it's
go
going
to
to be
work.
25, it's going to be $25 for your group. So the people that know
Okay.
you and come in as a result of your work with them. So we'll create a deal with that. It'll be $25. They'll get their scan. I'll give them
Okay.
a brief rundown on just kind of hit some of the high points. And so
Okay.
they
That'd be
should
awesome.
understand what's going on.
That would be awesome because I think it's a great motivator and it's a great objective thing when it gets a little bit like, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
very good. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. And um is there anything else you'd like people to know about this that I'm missing, not you're thinking of, that's important? I know you'll tell them when you briefly go over their results with them, but anything else we need to talk about with this?
Not that I
Anything
can think of. I mean,
Okay.
you don't know how, you have a speedometer to see how fast you're going. So you can adjust your speed, right? So you
Yep.
can let off or put the foot to the floor, whatever it is, right? So
Yep.
this is kind of like a speedometer in
Yep.
that we get to see where we're at and we get to decide which way we're moving the needle and
Yep.
be empowered by that, because
Yeah.
again, if you've got too much fat, you're building disease and that's going to be problems down the road. And so you want to have a good quality of life. You want to be vibrant and you actually want to thrive again in 25, you can
Thrive in
come on in and we'll
25.
check you out and go from there.
Yeah, be alive in 20. That's my motto. That deals. It's time. It's our time to thrive. 2025
There
hashtag.
you go. I like that better.
I'll put that on here for
Okay.
us, and hopefully anyone who's seeing your friends see this come in if they haven't been into your new office yet. So I encourage everyone to do it. And then I will do a post one,
Okay.
I'll be definitely planning on doing a post one. I know Cliff is as well. So then lastly but not leastly, this is like you say, I'm in my car. Ironically, this is like a dashboard on your car. It's like a speedometer. You're exactly right, because it's a great analogy, Dale, because but now, okay, now you get to choose what to do with it, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, if you don't know what to do with this information, and most people out there are stuck in resistance, they're stuck in fatigue, they're sick of failing, they're stuck in trauma, they're stuck in fear, they have financial, I mean, there's so much fatigue and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everyone's
Yep.
so has
Yep.
no bandwidth for anything anymore. Like they can't even think about, okay, so I get these numbers, what do I do about it, right? That's so exhausting to think of what now, right? What's next, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that I want to address and I want to acknowledge, because everyone is feeling like I don't have the energy or the desire, the bandwidth to do one more thing, fail at one more thing, or add one more thing to my plate. This won't do that. This won't do that. It'll just be the facts. And then Dale and I, you and I, like, will help them figure out, right? The next steps based on what's triage, right? What needs the first,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
what
But
what
that
needs,
first step is what's important, right?
yeah, like
See
yeah,
where you're at
exactly.
and then make that first step.
Exactly. So don't worry about what's next, everybody out there. Don't worry about what to do about it. Dale and I will help you.
Yeah.
Just worry about, let's get the information and then make a next step that makes sense for you, that's easy, that's doable, that's not overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
That's not too expensive, like that. That's what
Yeah.
really stops people from doing stuff like this, is like, oh great, I'm gonna get this information and then I'm not gonna be able to do anything about it anyway, and we get to resignation, and and resignation, and we get resigned, and we get in paralysis analysis, and we quit. So we don't want to do that on ourselves. So you and I will help anybody who goes to get this done, and we'll help you with your next steps. So I will
Cool.
actually put a link in there for you. I've got a link tree. You can connect with me if you have more questions, or Dale will obviously just make an appointment, go in, and then just connect in some way, whatever way you want, and we'll figure out what the easiest way for you to get started is. But get in there, grab an appointment time. It takes like I was in there 10 minutes, right? So
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
easy.
Come
So
in, you take your shoes off, you stand on a metal plate and you hold on to some handles that have metal. And so it just, like I said, puts a gentle current in. You won't even feel it, but it
yep,
takes less than a minute to do the scan.
nobody has to take their clothes off.
That's right. Just your shoes. So if you need a pedicure, get the pedicure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for explaining this, and I appreciate coming back, and looking again, and maybe I'll give me a few months to work on some things.
Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
look forward to watching your next live video that you do. I appreciate those. How often do you do those? Every day or every
Whenever
couple?
I get inspired. Yeah.
Okay.
So I
All
got a
right. All
couple
right.
ideas. It's just coming up with ideas of what to talk about. So,
Well, I love
what
them.
the news of the day is.
Keep doing it, and I'm gonna come and get my power on and my adjustment done. Spinal hygiene is it, gang. If we don't have hey, I was like chiropractic. I have to plug chiropractic for a second. If you don't got, you know what? Everyone has a dentist, right, Dale? Why doesn't everyone have a chiropractor? It's like brushing and flossing for your spine. It's only the most important thing in your body is your nervous
Yeah.
system, right?
Yeah.
That lives in
Yeah.
there.
It's true.
So make sure you've got a chiropractic checkup and do it routinely. So.
Amen.
Yep, amen. Right. So look, high five. Thank you very much for doing this today. And I look forward to seeing a bunch of people's results after
Yep.
they come and get it.
Come on in. Let's get you checked out.
All right. Take care. I love you. Have
You
a
too.
great day, and have a Super Bowl Sunday.
Thank you. Appreciate
Okay.
that.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.